Welcome back. This is part 3 of our look into the Scotch Rite Freemasonry. We aren't going to talk much through this particular video. We're just going to show you basically a quick peek at this book. You may want to read it for yourself. It's quite a big read. It's quite a lot of chapters. There's 18 in total. We've already covered the publisher's preface, the contents. As you can see, there's 18 chapters. There's a lot of reading, a lot of study, if it's your interest, of what they actually got up to and who was behind it all. We've covered the introduction, and a certain people's, certain groups' introduction of invented rites, etc. We're trying to go forward through it fast so you can actually have a look at some of the illustrations that are contained within it. Sign of silence, preparation of the candidate, token, sign of silence again. It's an explanation of what they actually are and some footnotes. Some more information on the corruption. The French form of masonry pretending or masquerading as Scotch or Scottish. Sign of recognition, one Freemason to another. Sign of admiration, token, third token, second token, third token. Probably ways of greeting with secret handshakes, symbols, etc. Sixth or intimate secretary degrees, the zodiac and signs, and how they relate to Freemasonry, i.e. Virgo or the Virgin. Sign of intimate secretary. Token intimate secretary. It's a greeting, perhaps, a way of greeting. We just noted more is meant than meets the eye. That sounds like the line in Transformers, the cartoon, more than meets the eye, but it's probably not related. Just caught our eye there a minute ago. Chapter 10, 7th degree or provost and judge, Libra or balance. And notes below. And the many rites and rituals or methods that they use as part of the ceremonies, initiations, etc. Grip of provost and judge. Provost and judge, there's a particular guy there. answer or reply to that particular sign indicated, illustrated. Eighth degree or intendant of the building, Scorpio or the Scorpion, and what it actually means with notes below. Or illustrations of signs and how to perform them within the lodge, probably. And a lot of explanations of what symbolic things mean, what they are, what they represent, by the sounds of it, by the looks of it. Chapter 13, Sagittarius or the Archer, an important and interesting grade. And there's the apron of the Master-elect of the Nine. Sign, Master-elect of Nine. Token in answer to that sign in a verbal reply. Lots more information on this particular degree. Chapter 15, 10th degree on Master-elect of 15, Capricornus or the Goat. Initiations, etc. Different signs used by the Master-elect of 15 and a person's answer to that particular signage. It's got here, in the legend or mythology of the Persians, they were Ahriman, or the evil principle attended by darkness and chaos. It's some sort of discourse by a grand orator. In the mysteries of the Egyptians, they were Typhon, the enemy and assassin of Osiris, assisted by Serapis and Amenethus. Among the Greeks, they were Titan, Python and Chimera. Many myths of the overthrow of the enemies of man and nature were invented. Now it is Jupiter, seconded by Apollo and Pan. Now it is Ormuzd, and there's notes on Ormuzd, who that was. Ormuzd was the principle of good and the symbol of light, and Ahriman the principle of evil and the symbol of darkness. In the old Persian religion, Mackey's Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, Ahmud, article on Ahmud and Ahriman. Not too sure if this is relating to Saint Paul. But it says here, if ever the words of Paul expanded by Milton had a fulfillment, it was when Ramsay and the Jesuits invented degrees for money in the hopes of promotion by replacing popery on the throne of England, crushing Protestantism in Europe and free government throughout the world. Okay, these are the different symbolic tools they probably used. The pair of scales, the key, symbol to teach religiously in your heart the secrets with which they are entrusted, as the sacred trust that these illustrious brethren have reposed or put inside of these people in their minds. The zealous charity you ought to have for your brethren is figured to you by the emblem of an inflamed heart, a true symbol of it. So they've got to be kind, etc., to their fellow brethren, the other members of that brotherhood. Or that Masonry faction. And it continues through all the 12 signs of the zodiac, and also with the drawings. There's the tracing dividers, the parallel ruler, etc., etc. You can read all about them if you decide to read this book, this entire volume, which will take quite a while unless you're a prolific reader. Aries or the ram. What is the delta? What is the delta? Note 11.4 or 114. Enoch. The degeneracy of mankind became so great before the flood, and the perversions of pure antediluvian masonry so grievous, that according to the traditions, Enoch feared the genuine secrets would be lost and swallowed up in the predicted deluge or flood, to prevent which he hid the grand secrets engraven on a white oriental porphyry stone in the bowels of the earth, and being apprehensive that the morality and science which had been embodied in Freemasonry with such care would be absorbed in the general destruction, to preserve the principles of the science, he built 2 pillars near the spot where they were concealed, with an inscription in hieroglyphics importing that near it was a precious treasure which had been dedicated to God. McCoy's Encyclopedia and Dictionary of Freemasonry, article Enoch. And more illustrations of these signs and tokens and how to perform them. Here, at the bottom of this particular page, 272 of this volume, it states here, the Bible also instructs us that Moses was well beloved of God and that he spoke to him on Mount Sinai at a burning bush. Okay, that's incorrect. If we have the translation of the original Tav Asherah, translated into the nearest equivalent, and it says that God was seen by Moses inside a flying disc. He saw 3 of them, and one of them he recognized was God, and he, out of fear, dare not look at him in case he was killed by his, or died to his glory, seeing his glory, etc., etc., looking upon the face of God, that he might die. So there is something incorrect there. So you're probably using the latter Greek, Latinized Greek translations in English. The Bible also instructs us that Moses was well beloved of God, and he spoke to him on Mount Sinai and communicated to him his divine laws, the 10 Commandments, right? 613 priestly laws, etc. And many promises renewing an alliance with him, and he gave him the true pronunciation of his holy name, by which he would always be invoked. It was at this time that Moses replied, "Who art thou?" Okay, this is Shakespeare speak. God said in the Hebrew, this is in a tetragrammaton probably, his true name: "I am a strong and zealous God," not a strong and jealous God, as often translated in the modern Americanized modern English versions. Okay, so in the Aramaic he actually said, "What's your name?" I'll go to the people and they'll ask me, the people in Egypt, enslaved in Egypt, "What is your God's name?" And he said, Ahia Asher, Here, which means I am, the I am, and so forth. We've already covered a video on this. We could provide it as an end screen if we find it. Okay, what's this? Moses, having been taught by the great architect himself relative to the efficacy of this great name provided in Egypt against drought, hunger and sickness, okay, and so forth. And it continues, so we'll leave it there. Note 132. It can never be too often repeated that the word is, in Masonry, the symbol of truth. Is that talking about Jesus the Messiah, Jesus the Christ? This truth is a great object of pursuit in Masonry, the scope and tendency of all its investigations, the promised reward of all Masonic labour, sought for diligently in every degree, and constantly approached but never thoroughly and intimately embraced at length. In the Royal Arch, the veils which concealed the object of search from our view are withdrawn, and the inestimable prize are revealed. This truth which Masonry makes the great object of its investigation is not the mere truth of science or the truth of history, but is the more important truth which is synonymous with the knowledge of the nature of God. That truth which is embraced in the sacred tetragrammaton, or omnity, is that F or T? Omnify name, including in its signification his eternal present, past and future existence, and to which he himself alluded when he declared to Moses, "I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of God Almighty, but by my name Jehovah was I not known unto them." The discovery of this truth is then the essential symbolism of the Royal Arch degree. Whether it is practiced and under some peculiar name, the degree is found in every rite of Masonry. This symbolism is preserved. However, the legend may vary. However, the ceremonies of reception and the preliminary steps of initiation may differ. The consummation is always the same, the great discovery which represents the attainment of truth. Mackey's Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, article Royal Arch degree. look at this. This has come up. Something's come up and it looks very interesting. Scholars know that the Jewish rabbis in the decline of religion and reading the scriptures paused and passed over the name of Jehovah in silence and then read on. This was while the Hebrew language was written without vowel points, so that when the Masorites came to supply vowels, the pronunciation of the name was forgotten and the vowel sounds of another name of God were affixed to the consonants of the word Jehovah. See, the ancient Hebrew and Aramaic were sister languages and they had the same words with the same meanings, but when these Masorites added the vowels, it not only changed the structure of that language but also the meaning of the words. So you have Euma in the ancient Aramaic, which signifies day, immeasurable period, unfathomable period, era, eon, age, or day with a capital D. And then you have Yom in the Hebrew, which just simply means day. Sometimes it has a capital D, but it's signifying a day of the week as we know it in most of those English translations, or if not all of them. While the Hebrew language was written without vowel points, so that when the Masorites came to supply vowels, the pronunciation of the name was forgotten, the name of God, and the vowel sounds of another name of God were affixed to the consonants of the words Jehovah, to supply the place of the sounds which had been lost by this Jewish superstition. They didn't utter the name of God. They said it was too sacred, too holy to do so. The word never was lost, but the sounds only. The letters which these schemers pretended to have found at the bottom of an underground pit, 9 arches deep, on a triangular glittering gold plate, are taken from the Hebrew Bibles just as they stood when the books were written, and as they still stand. And outside the Hebrew, the Greek Zeus, the Latin Deus, the Saxon God, and even the Indian, is the North American Indian, Manito, in the hands of the Holy Spirit, can convey to the penitent soul correct ideas of God, though each word sounds differently from the other. Nothing necessary to salvation is lost, and if there was, Masonry has not found it. It has found nothing. The thing lost was a sound, and Masons do not claim to have discovered on that golden plate the sound of God's name. The French Masons still saying Dieu, and the Englishman God, and the believing pagan centurion is accepted who says neither. Yet this infamous scheme for lure and ambition, or no, that's lucre, it'd be money, and ambition has convinced thousands that the gold plate, like those of the Mormon, Joseph Smith and his golden plates revealed him, has revealed truth outside of and beyond the Bible, and the popularity and power of the falsehood in both cases depend on the multitudes who believe the lie and pay for it. The footnote 113 says, the peculiar form of the degree differs greatly in different countries. Indeed, so we are not sure we have any Royal Arch degrees after all, for the form of the degree is the fact of it. One gives us the Arch of Enoch, another the Arch of Zerubbabel, and another of Josiah, in whose reign the book of the law was found in the rubbish of the temple, where it was left when the temple was forsaken for the lodge worships and the whoredoms of Baal. But if half a dozen men give as many totally different and conflicting accounts of one fact, we know that it is a lie and not the truth, or as Mackey himself calls it in footnote 115, a fabrication of the Royal Arch degree, which, though rejected by the English Masons, is now the 13th degree of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite, which now leads the Masonic world. Read the note. And if further proof of imposture in the position we're wanting, it is at hand. This degree starts before the flood, see note 116, when Enoch's arches were built. Now, when the candidate removes the keystone and penetrates the depths, he finds on the several arches, as he opens them, the Latin words: 1. Principium, 2. Existence, 3. Potens, A. Eternalis, Infinitum, Solus, Misericordias, Sapientia, Justice. Now, to set Enoch before the flood to writing Latin on his arches, buried so low that the deluge could not reach them, when no Latin language existed for ages after God had taken the good man to himself, i.e. Enoch, is as sensible as it would be in a religious play. To set Adam as engineer on a railroad, to take Eve to make the speech at a WCTU meeting. No, the power of this degree, long as it has been fooled its thousands, or as long as it's fooled those thousands of people, is the power of Mormonism, of alchemy, of astrology, of spiritism, mesmerism, and whatever holds the mind steady for Satan to demoralize it. It is the powers of that spirit whose coming is with lying wonders. The wonders may be real, but they land men in the lie that they may be saved without Christ. And he's tore us on the book. And notes on that. And so forth. So we'll finish there. Hopefully this video, this third part, has opened your mind to the falsities, the rites invented by the French posing as Scottish, as Scotch, etc. So you'll be aware of what really went on behind the scenes, and open to that there was the original good Freemasonry, and then there was the counterfeit, the false recreation with the added rites, etc., etc. So one was God oriented and the other is satanically oriented. If you liked this video, this information throughout this video, subscribe to our channel, give us a like, add your comments below this video, and then share this with all those who have that idea that all Freemasonry from its very beginnings was satanic, evil, wicked, etc. Where we have come to realize through our research in this video, looking at this book, this volume 1 and 2, that that was not the case.